Have you ever just looked at your parrot and wondered, what in the world is going on in that beautiful little head? I mean, these birds are so smart, so affectionate, but they can also be a total puzzle, right? Sometimes it's honestly tough to know if that incredible bond you feel is, well, if it's a two-way street. So today, let's decode the amazing language of parrots together.
Ah, yes, the big question. It's the one every single parrot parent asks themselves at some point. Is that squawk a happy hello or an annoyed go away? Was that little nibble on my finger playful or was it a warning? You know, earning a parrot's trust, it's a journey. But the good news is they give us tons of signals along the way. And in this explainer, we're going to give you the tools to finally answer that question with some real confidence.
You know, the very first step is you've got to stop thinking like a human and you've got to start thinking like a bird. Seriously. Parrots communicate with this really complex mix of body language, all sorts of vocalizations, and these super subtle gestures. It's a language built entirely on trust. And I promise you, once you start to learn it, your relationship with your feathered friend is going to completely transform.
Okay, so before a parrot can even think about showing you affection, it has to feel 100% safe. Trust isn't something that just happens. It's something you build, piece by piece, on a really solid foundation. You have to prove to them that you are a reliable, safe, and secure presence in their world.
Think about it like this. In the wild, parrots look to a flock leader for safety, for guidance, for everything. Well, in your home, guess who that is? It's you. Becoming a trustworthy flock leader just means creating a stable, predictable world where your parrot knows they're protected and their needs are always going to be met. This is the absolute bedrock of your entire relationship. It's what gives them permission to finally relax and let that affectionate side shine through. So, how do you become this great flock leader? Well, it all starts with these 3 pillars. It's pretty straightforward. First, they need a secure personal space. That's their cage. Second, a routine they can count on, day in and day out. And third, a calm, stress-free environment. If you can get these 3 things right, you are so well on your way to building an incredible foundation of trust. All right, let's get practical here. Your parrot's cage is their castle, their safe space. So putting it up against the wall, that makes them feel protected, like no one can sneak up from behind. And having a consistent schedule for waking up, for feeding, for bedtime, that tells them that their world is orderly and safe. This kind of predictability just massively reduces their stress, and it's what allows them to let their guard down around you. Now, once your parrot starts to feel really secure, they'll begin sending out these quieter signals of trust. These aren't huge, flashy gestures, but oh man, are they meaningful. This is where we start learning to listen to the whispers. Okay, listen closely for this one. If you're sitting with your parrot and you hear this soft, kind of crunchy, grinding sound, that is one of the highest compliments that can possibly pay you. It's the parrot version of a happy, sleepy sigh. It means they feel so incredibly safe in your presence that they can just completely relax and let their guard all the way down. Now, let's talk about preening. In the wild, a bird that's preening its feathers is a vulnerable bird, right? They're focused on feather maintenance, they're not watching out for predators. So, if your parrot is just casually preening while you're hanging out nearby, what they're really telling you is, I trust you to be my lookout. I feel totally safe here. That is a huge compliment.
And here we go. This is probably the most important rule of learning to speak parrot. No single gesture ever means just one thing. You absolutely have to be a detective. You've got to look at the whole picture, their eyes, their feathers, their posture, to really understand the true message they're sending.
And this is the perfect example. Let's take eye pinning. That's when their pupils get really tiny and then big, really fast. It's always a sign of intense focus. But focus on what? See, the physical action is identical in both cases, but look at the context. If you see a relaxed bird, maybe looking at their favorite toy and their eyes are pinning, that's pure joy and excitement. But a tense bird, feathers all flared up, maybe hissing a little, that exact same eye pinning is a crystal clear warning to back off. Context is literally everything.
All right, so we've covered the quiet whispers. Now let's talk about the moments when your parrot's affection is loud, it's clear, and it is absolutely impossible to misinterpret. These are the big ones, folks. When your parrot starts doing these things, you know that trust you've been building has blossomed into a real, genuine bond. I mean, when they fly to you willingly, that's the ultimate vote of confidence. When they start preening your hair, it's their way of saying, hey, you're one of us, you're part of my flock, and I'm going to take care of you. And that happy little wing flap they do when you walk in the room, that's just pure, unadulterated joy. All right, let's talk about the
let's just say, the messiest sign of affection. I know it might seem a little gross to us, but in the parrot world, regurgitating food for you is basically the ultimate declaration of love. It means they see you as a cherished family member that they want to care for and provide for. So the key takeaway is, try to take it as a compliment right before you clean it up.
Okay, now for a really fascinating species-specific behavior. If you've got a cockatiel, you might have seen this incredible display. It's when they puff up their feathers and hold their wings out just so, and it creates this perfect little heart shape. It is so endearing, but what does it actually mean?
And surprise, surprise, context is king. Just look at this. Heart wings isn't a one-note gesture. Of course, it can be a sign of pure happiness and affection for you, absolutely. But it can also be part of a courtship dance, or a way to show another bird who's boss, or even a sign that they're feeling a little stressed out. By looking at everything else that's going on, the sounds they're making, their posture, you can figure out the real meaning behind this beautiful little display.
So, now you know how to read the signs. But how do you actively build an even stronger bond? Let's wrap this up with a clear toolkit to help you keep growing that incredible connection you have with your parrot.
It really all comes down to these 3 powerful strategies. First, using positive reinforcement, so making every interaction a rewarding one. Second, practicing gentle handling, always respecting their comfort and their personal space. And third, engaging their brilliant little minds with foraging and play that mimics their natural instincts.
And here's how you put that into practice. Instead of forcing your bird to step up, make it a fun game with a really tasty reward. Let them choose to participate. Turn feeding time into a treasure hunt by hiding some of their food in toys. This engages their powerful intellect, and it prevents boredom, which is so important. These simple, respectful actions speak volumes in the language of trust.
You know, building a bond with a parrot is really just a long conversation. They are talking to you constantly, through every little action and every shift in their posture. The real journey isn't about teaching them tricks, it's about learning their language. Because once you start truly listening, you'll discover a friendship unlike anything else in the world. And that's a conversation worth having.